Good evening, and welcome to Flat Rock Brook's 2021 Earth Day Gala. My name is Janet Sharma, and I have the honor of serving as president of the Board of Trustees of Flat Rock Brook Nature Association. This past year, during the global pandemic that so dramatically affected us all, Flat Rock Brook has seen an enormous increase in the number of visitors seeking solace in the restorative power of nature. Our trails, our ponds, our wildlife, and of course, beautiful Flat Rock Brook provided relief from remote school and work by offering thousands of people a welcome walk in the woods, close to home. We're thrilled to have you join us tonight in celebrating Earth Day, and what better way to do that than by celebrating Flat Rock Brook, an urban forest right here in Englewood. Our enthusiasm for this place and its future is truly unbound. I hope that you enjoy our gala and that you will share our enthusiasm by pitching in to support this wonderful organization. It's now my pleasure to turn our program over to award-winning journalist and reporter for NBC TV, Brian Thompson, who will be our master of ceremonies this evening. Thanks so much for coming. And here's Brian.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Thompson. I'm your host tonight for the 2021 Gala for the Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve. We want to thank you for being here. It is so important for the preserve and for you, and of course for our children and all the animals and all the flora that's in that preserve. This is going to be a great night. Alas, it's been 2 years in a row now that we've had to join each other virtually, but it's here, we're here, and we've made it through this pandemic for the most part. And so that's a cause to celebrate in and of itself. Now, you know, you're joining us on Earth Day, and it's a special day, of course, for our environment going back some 5 decades now. A little aside, I'm a guy from Wisconsin. That's where I grew up. And you know who really started the whole Earth Day thing? It was a senator from Wisconsin, a senator by the name of Gaylord Nelson, somebody that I always admired and looked up to. And I was growing up and thinking about politics, which thank goodness I never got into. But that being said, this is Earth Day, and this is a reason to celebrate both our entire Earth and our little corner of the Earth, 150 acres on the west side of the Palisades in Englewood, New Jersey. So thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us celebrate. And thank you for caring for the Earth, because that's what this is all about. That's what we're trying to do. And it's really something that when you think about everything that has happened in these 50 years with the Environmental Protection Agency, which followed Earth Day, and all of the trials and tribulations since then, we've made a great amount of progress. Now, we're just 5 billion, 7 billion people on this earth, I guess. You know, almost 1 billion of us will be celebrating Earth Day today. And that's quite an accomplishment when you consider that back when this all began, it was just a measly 20 million people. Wow, from 20 million to 1 billion. And all of this to protect the nature that we have, to teach about the nature that we have, and to provide an experience. You know, there's just over 3.5 miles of trails in the Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve. If you haven't taken all of those trails, you really should. It's a beautiful experience. I've been on them myself. And of course, for Flat Rock Brook and the Nature Preserve, there's so much nature to get back to. Think about all we've missed in this past year of a pandemic and social distancing and masking and fears. And now we're getting back to normal. You know, this park gets something like 75,000 visitors every year. It serves more than 5,000 students in the Northern Valley. Think about how valuable that experience is for them. So these are all opportunities, but it's privately funded, and that's very important. Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve does not get government money of any substantial amount at all. Maybe a grant here or a grant there, but it's run, and it continues to be run by those of us who give and support and make sure it stays what it is, a true jewel on the Palisades. And so that's our mission tonight. You know, you can help, and I'll tell you right now, if you text PRESERVE 41444, that's PRESERVE 41444, that's how you can contribute tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have some auctions. We're going to have some awards, people who've really made a difference in our community. And that's what we want you to feel and enjoy and be a part of. So please sit back and maybe get yourself a little libation or two. You know, we do have the Brook Breeze on the website. It's a special libation that you might enjoy and loosen you up a little bit. Take out that credit card, have another breeze, take out another credit card, have another breeze. You get the idea where I'm going with this. Just have a good time and realize it's all for a really, really good cause. You wouldn't be here if you didn't believe in the preserve. We wouldn't be here if we didn't believe in the preserve. So remember, text preserve 41444. And now it's time for me to hand it over to Steve Wiesner, who is the executive director for the Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve. Steve, take it away.
Thank you, Brian, for the kind introduction. My name is Stephen Wiesner, and I've been Flat Rock Brook's executive director for 15 years. I'd like to welcome everyone to our 2021 virtual gala. The Nature Center has been busier than ever as people have flocked to the outdoors this past year. It's been very rewarding to see how important our 150-acre oasis is to so many people in the greater Bergen County region. I'm pleased that the Nature Center has been able to continue to provide environmental education programs to the community we serve through this challenging year, and we look forward to providing an excellent in-person summer camp starting in June and to get our field trips going again this fall for our school groups. To continue to operate our facility to meet the growing needs of the community, we need your help. We hope that you will bid on our lovely items in our silent auction, and you could also provide a contribution directly to the Nature Center by texting PRESERVE to 41444. I would like to thank Flat Rock Brook's wonderful staff, the tremendous leadership of our board, and the hundreds of volunteers that help make Flat Rock such a tremendous community resource. I wish everyone a wonderful evening to support Flat Rock Brook, and it is my pleasure to introduce Brown & Brown Insurance to accept our Outstanding Corporate Partner Award.
Good evening, everyone. I am Tracy Franchi, Vice President of the Commercial Lines Division at Brown & Brown. We thank you and are honored to be named this year's Outstanding Corporate Partner for Flat Rock Brook. As you celebrate Earth Day, I hope you are enjoying the gala in the virtual format we have all become so familiar with this past year. Brown & Brown has a long history of support for this organization and will continue to be committed to the Flat Rock Brook, and for many of us, grateful for what you do. The Flat Rock Brook Nature Center is an oasis of calm in the midst of our urban environment. As stewards of the last remnants of the Palisades Forest, we applaud the association's continued efforts to preserve this slice of nature, as well as the education and environmental knowledge shared with students and to all who visit. The future of this preserve lies within all of us.
I have to remind everybody, don't forget about the silent auction. You'll see the tab on your screen there. Remember, we're here to support Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve. So hit that tab, text PRESERVE 41444, and now we'll get on to our second award for the evening. It is the Good Neighbor Award. These are people who've been so special to Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve. And this year we're honoring Richard Oram, somebody who's been with this organization for so long, for so many years. He's been treasurer, he's been on the board, he's been an honorary trustee since 2019. And this past year, he especially helped by developing an emergency fund. We have been in an emergency, as we all know, with this pandemic. And Richard Oram has helped come up with a financial lifeline, if you will, for this organization. This emergency fund has drawn in money to help us keep going, to make sure we bridge this pandemic and go on to the next year of support and strength and education and preserving the Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve. So please join me in welcoming Richard Oram as our Good Neighbor Award winner, so well deserved.
Thank you, Brian. Supporting Flat Rock is easy because it's essentially home to me. I first saw the Nature Center in the 1990s when I lived in New York, and I was thrilled to learn about it. In 2001, I got the idea of buying a house in Englewood near my business, and I purposely sought properties bordering Flat Rock. I found one that really needed care. Under Steve's leadership, the Nature Center has gotten constantly better over the last 20 years, and that's what I've been doing with my property. I feel very connected to the land and its history. We're so lucky that Flat Rock was saved almost 50 years ago. Next time you're near, walk down Jones Road to Linden. You'll probably see me working, an old guy, sweatshirt, driving a tractor maybe, pandemic hair probably. Come say hello. Thanks to Flat Rock for the recognition and for being a great neighbor to me. Up next is a musical guest, Blue Plate Special, performing their original bluegrass music. Here's their vocalist, Jay Friedman.
Hello, friends of Flat Rock Brook. We are Blue Plate Special, your local band. And just like you, we love this organization and appreciate all they have to offer. It's especially important in these times for us to connect with nature. Flat Rock Brook does so much in terms of conservation and education. We are huge fans of all they do. Every Earth Day, we are reminded just how much we need Flat Rock Brook. Please make a $100 contribution and you'll receive a Blue Plate Special CD. That would be wonderful. We've got a new song to share with you right now. Let's go. Thanks.
Here she comes, looking like a fiddle bow. No rising to keep the hairs in line, stumbling just to stay in time. Here it is, tuck it right under your chin, wound up and strung out, beyond the shadow of a doubt. There it was, lay it out like you really mean it, as if it were your big hit that everybody knows. Make your mark and really dig your heels in. We're living in a bargain bin where everything must go. Hold tight, don't you give an inch. Set the beat and chart the course. Wrangle in the wild horse. Stand fast. Hard days have yet to pass. Now you're finally learning why the things you need you just can't buy. And now you know. Lay it out like you really mean it, as if it were your big hit that everybody knows. Make your mark and really dig your heels in. We're living in a bargain bin where everything must go. as if it were your big hit that everybody knows. Make your mark and really dig your heels in. We're living in a bargain bin where everything must go. Stand fast. Hard days have yet to pass.
And that was great. What better way to celebrate the Flat Rock Brook Nature Center and Preserve than to have bluegrass music? It's almost like you're up there in the mountains right now, listening to Rocky Top or something like that. Well, you can, because we'll send you a CD of the Blue Plate Special, the group you just heard, with just a $100 donation. You send it, texting it to Preserve 41444, and we'll get that CD out to you, and you can plug it into your little device and your headphones and walk through the forest and pretend you're in the mountains of Appalachia. Oh, what a great sound that would be. But now it's time to move on, and time to hear from the land manager for Flat Rock Brook and the Nature Center and Preserve that we have here. That's Brian Didion. So Brian, take it away. You're our first guest speaker.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian, and I'm the land manager at Flat Rock Brook Nature Center. I'm here to represent our dedicated land management team that manage our preserve and trail system to keep it safe for visitors and provide native habitat for wildlife. When we first made the tough decision to close our park, it was a race to close down the park and let visitors know we were closed due to the pandemic. A truly heartbreaking task that had to be done as the park began to get extremely overcrowded. After the race to close up shop, with no people visiting the park and no work groups being scheduled, things started to slow down for a while. Birds started nesting right next to the building, foxes were taking morning strolls along the boardwalk, and turkeys, unfamiliar with how Zoom worked, started performing morning meetings on the back patio. Trails normally teeming with hikers suddenly had little red oak saplings growing in the middle of the trail. So while the environment was healing, I took the master to-do list and started preparing our eventual reopen. Analyzing trail networks to maintain social distance, going over reopening strategies, and thinking of how to keep visitors safe while they visited the park. And oh boy, did they visit the park. The outdoor activity renaissance had begun, and soon hundreds of visitors poured in each day. The regulars came back along with people who hadn't visited the park in a couple of years, but also some new visitors who hadn't hiked a day in their life. It's those people that benefit the most from our little preserve. Flat Rock Brook gave them a place to step out of their comfort zone and experience what the environment has to offer them for both their physical and mental health. I remember shortly after reopening, I was on my way to feed our rescued birds of prey when a little girl and her mom asked about the birds. I gave him my usual spiel about how they got here and what they do for us. And the girl was so happy to see the birds and was very sad when we were closed. It's at that moment I knew what a special place this is and what an honor it is to take care of it. So to keep up with the demand, we took on 3 college-age volunteers to focus on land resource management. They began working the highly glamorous life of land stewardship, picking up garbage, clearing debris off of trails, and cleaning bird poop off the aviary walls. We were so impressed with our seasonal land stewardship here that we hired him part-time on our staff. Now in 2021, we're hoping to expand our seasonal land stewardship program and give the next generation of land stewards experience to enter the workforce. You can support them directly by going to our auction and selecting any land management item to give us the gear to help us manage our preserve. Even smaller items like our trail bridges improve the quality of your hiking experience. I know a battery-powered chainsaw might seem like a strange Earth Day item, but a land steward with a chainsaw is like a Jedi with a lightsaber. I'll leave you with a quick story from our trail from this past year. After stopping for a break along the trail during storm cleanup from Hurricane Isaias, I picked up what felt like my 100th disposable mask for the day. Grumbling to myself like an old man, I threw it in the garbage, washed my hands, and began eating my lunch. Some time went by and I waved hello to a man and his 5-year-old son hiking the trail. They had stopped and asked what I was doing, and the little boy was excited to see all our equipment, and I even let him hit the horn on our utility vehicle. After chatting with his father, he told us they were there to pick up trash since the little boy was so upset the last time they had hiked. So with his little gloves and old plastic shopping bags, he picked up the trash alongside with me. I thanked the two for their work, gave the kid a COVID-friendly Air 5, and they went on their way. And as they left, I started to tear up. I smiled. This time I knew there was a young land steward out there beginning their journey. So no matter what you give tonight, know that every single last one of you is a steward of the land, and I appreciate you for it. Now we hand it off to one of our regular hikers and a member of our board, Charmaine Rodriguez.
So when my husband and I moved to Englewood a little over 7 years ago, our first introduction to Flat Rock was when we participated in the 5K Run in the Wild race. And we've been coming here with our son ever since. We're both from the Caribbean, so we love to be outdoors, we love to be with nature, and we love the environment. And in fact, when I completed my undergrad degree in chemistry, I knew immediately that I wanted to pursue a master's degree in environmental studies. And now in my day-to-day, I get to review marketing claims for several beauty brands. And now I see sustainability and environmental claims becoming a large part of that space. And as a member of the Board of Trustees at Flat Rock, I get to not only serve Flat Rock, but get to serve the community at large. Flat Rock is one of the beautiful gems in the community of Englewood. And Earth Day exists because of Flat Rock. You know, it's about preserving and protecting beautiful spaces such as this. And one of the things that I love to do when I visit Flat Rock is there's a particular stream that I always go by. And I love it there because it reminds me so much of my grandmother's home in Jamaica at a place called Tranquility. There's actually a river that runs alongside her property. And whenever I go to Flat Rock, it just takes me back there. And if you haven't visited, I urge you to do so because, you know, you get to not only make memories either by yourself or with your loved ones. And with that, I just wanted to say Happy Earth Day and happy anniversary, Flat Rock. And now we'll hear from Scott Redding.
This is the most important decision you will ever make in your life. Not whether you are donating money to Flat Rock, but how much money. You have to be insane to not want to help those little children who love cute animals and love nature. Don't you care about nature and fuzzy animals and a sense of kindness, knowing that you can change the entire world with your donation? For every person that gives, an angel gets their wings, the sky will be a little bluer, and your spouse will do whatever errand you want them to do. I promise that when you give, the world will give back to you 10 times more. Money is made of paper, and paper is made from trees. So if you don't donate right here, right now, they will have to chop down every tree at Flat Rock. We don't want that, do we? I better leave now because I'm going to cry with tears of joy and happiness. Thank you for helping make Flat Rock the #1 nature center in the entire world. And now to you, Brian.
Wow, Scott, I'm not sure I know how to respond to that, except that, well, if you are interested in getting him to kind of like DJ your party, which he does, either with or without that outfit, it's up to you. It's a $400 item, so go for it. Thanks, Scott. You know, the outfit, keep it. It's a keeper. That's part of what we do, of course. We raise money. So we kind of have to give Scott award number 2.5 because my next guest is the third award for tonight, and that's Don Torino. He's with the Bergen County Audubon Society, and he has been a special ambassador between them and us over all these years. He has been a great friend to the Nature Center so long, been working on so many projects to help us and to help the birds of the Northern Valley. And this Nature Center is right underneath the Great Flyway up the Hudson River. What a wonderful chance and opportunity to commune with nature and see all of these migrating birds twice a year, going north, going south, on their great adventure in the wilds. And that's part of the joy of having this little 150-acre nature center right in the smack dab middle of the flyway. So kudos to the Audubon Society for all the work they do. Kudos to Don Torino with the Audubon Society, certainly deserving of this Conservation Hero Award and deserving of your support. And one easy way to do that, of course, is to text PRESERVE to 41444. With that little plug, let me introduce Don Torino, a conservation hero truly.
On behalf of the board members of Bergen County Audubon Society and myself, we couldn't be more honored to accept this award. Flat Rock Brook has been so special to us over the years, and I'm sure it is to everybody here tonight. And we certainly look forward to many years to come, working on projects together and coming out and joining everyone at Flat Rock Brook. You know, Earth Day is here, and of course that's a special day to all of us. But I think that this year it means something even more. Flat Rock Brook has been so special to everybody, especially during the COVID crisis. And it gave us a place to come out and renew our souls and warm our hearts, and it made the outdoors and nature even more special. So I think this year it's a new Earth Day, and I think we're much more aware of how important it is to support and protect places like Flat Rock Brook. So again, we're very honored, and we look forward to seeing you at the center and joining everyone again. Thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. Much appreciated.
You know, the heroes have made a huge difference to Flat Rock Brook Nature Center over the years. That's why we like to honor them. We know what they put into the program, and we know that you being here means that you can put something into the program as well. Especially, for example, our Adopt a Raptor for a Year. Very popular program. It's only $350 at the hero level. And you'll have, in addition to a certificate of adoption, of course, you'll have the opportunity to meet these animals that can fly no more. Owls, hawks, kestrels. One of them will be yours for a year, knowing that you are helping take care of it. So for just $350, you can be a hero to one of our raptors, one of these beautiful birds that are part of our collection that we are nursing and nurturing so that everybody can understand how important they are to our ecosystem, including all of those students who visit and are fascinated by these birds. So would you please donate to that? Now we have a second way that you can help support Flat Rock Brook Nature Center, and that's through land management. It is a huge need, and for these 150 acres, it never ends. The problem is, during the pandemic, visits ended. We had to shut down for several months. And once we opened up again, we found out just how popular this nature center and preserve really is. People flock to it, and we expect this summer there'll be even more people. The best way to experience nature is right out your back door at the Flat Rock Brook Nature Center. And that's what we're offering you. And for $250, you can be a hero to the land management needs that we have there. You know, you heard from Brian Didion a little earlier. He's been involved in planning the reopening. He's involved in the maintenance. You know, when a tree falls in the forest, it may not make a noise, but it sure as heck can block a trail. And who's going to do that? Who's going to remove that tree? Who's going to cut it, move it, whatever? Yeah, it's people like Brian. So that takes a lot of work. It takes tools. You have invasive species that have to be culled. You want to plant natural species that help control erosion. We want to build a boardwalk in an area with vernal pools. All of these are ambitious projects, but they need your support. And for only $250, you can show exactly that, your support for the continued operation of this nature center. Would you please donate? So we're asking you to make a $500 donation to the educational efforts of Flat Rock Brook Nature Center and Preserve. There are so many programs that will return this year. Summer camp will return. Again, social distancing, all the CDC guidelines, nothing to worry about there. But again, it takes an effort. And one thing we've learned over, all these decades is that getting kids into nature, immersing them, even for a few brief hours, enhances both their academic outcomes and their physical outcomes. Think about it. When you go to a nature preserve and center like Flat Rock Brook, don't you feel better? These are the sort of experiences that we have to give to our children, to the next generation. And that's why we're asking you to become a hero for them, to donate $500, knowing we will keep them safe this year. No question about it, but we need your support to do that. So now it's time for me to turn it over to board member Robert Gross. He's going to talk about the Jones Road project, the final funding request we have for tonight. Again, all of this to make an impact on how Flat Rock Brook Nature Center and Preserve can make a difference in all of our lives. So Robert, take it away.
Thank you, Brian, for the kind introduction. My name is Robert Gross, and I am a member of the board of Flat Rock, an architect by profession, and most importantly, an Englewood resident who has enjoyed with my family the oasis of the Flat Rock Brook Nature Preserve for over 16 years. We are so excited to announce our plans to transform the Jones Road area of the Nature Center. Plans have been in the works for several years to advance this area of the preserve, including improving ADA access, upgrading stream bank retention with native plantings and other strategies, replacing the primary bridge to the playground to make it disability friendly, and using our natural and built surroundings to support our environmental educational mission. The Jones Road transformation will do all of this and will encourage all of the preserve's visitors to connect with nature in a variety of ways. What you see behind me is a glimpse of the Jones Road project master plan, which includes the following elements: improved ADA access into and around the Jones Road area of the preserve, as well as new picnic and gathering areas. These improvements will allow folks of all ages and abilities to be immersed in and flow through our beautifully preserved environment. A new nature-themed playground with interactive elements along forest play trails will engage with our younger users, and a sustainably built viewing deck with seating that overlooks the new playground. A new outdoor classroom specifically designed for immersive learning in the natural environment will allow our dedicated educational staff to open all of our eyes to the wonders around us, using our beloved preserve as our primary learning tool. This significant and very visible classroom will be dedicated in memory of Jill Bonetta, our longstanding education director who passed away a few years ago. A graphics program placing informational signage at strategic points in the preserve will fully integrate our educational program into our landscape, teaching all of us about the importance of sustainable preservation of our environment. We're currently developing plans for all of this work with a highly talented team of landscape architects and engineers, and we plan to start actual site work in the spring of 2022. We recognize that all of this takes support from many sources, and we are respectfully asking for your contribution of $1,000 or any amount that you can afford to help kick off this exciting transformational project for our Jones Road area. And with that, I am honored to introduce you now to Betty Frank, this year's recipient of our President's Award. Betty Frank has been part of Flat Rock Brook for nearly its entire 48 years of existence. Betty was in our inaugural class of volunteer trail guides, starting in this role in 1974 and continuing as a guide for many years, in the process teaching thousands of students the wonder of nature on Flat Rock Brook's trails. Betty was also on Flat Rock's Board of Trustees, serving as the Nature Center's third president between 1975 and 1978. More recently, Betty was nominated as an honorary trustee in 2019 and has also been a steadfast supporter of the Nature Center's education and land preservation mission for decades. It's my privilege to present the ever joyful Betty Frank with the President's Award tonight.
Oh, thank you very, very much for this wonderful honor. I'm honored and pleased and overwhelmed by being part of this gathering to celebrate Flat Rock Brook Nature Center. I met Flat Rock Brook in 1968 when it was called Allison Park, and we moved to Englewood with 3 young boys. Flat Rock Brook has taught me about environmental issues and the preservation of open space and the pleasure of wild and free open space. And it's also brought me a collection of friends who are people who dedicated themselves to the care and protection of Flat Rock Brook. In those days, those olden days, there weren't 150 acres. Generous donors have added and both support and land and matching support from the New Jersey Green Acres Act. In the beginning, there was very little on these acres, no building, no developed trails, and access mainly from the Jones Road. We realized that many did not know of the 100 acres of natural woodlands along the meandering brook. And we thought, in order to make it accessible to all residents, that we would go through the schools and have the children come and visit with trail guides, leading them, taking them up the pathways and the exploring bits and pieces and guppies in the stream. It was very good fun for all of us. For us as trail guides, I was one in the beginning, and very much for the kids. So now I want to say it's time for those kids to come back, bring their own children, and how about bringing a grandparent? Because at Flat Rock Brook, there's something for everyone. And now I would like to introduce Rachel McGuffern.
Thank you, Betty, and congratulations. Thank you all for being here with us this evening to celebrate Earth Day. Today, I have Titus here with me. He is our non-releasable American kestrel, and he is going to help us out to learn a little bit about Earth Day together. Okay, Titus, we'll go. In January of 1969, a catastrophic oil spill inspired a group of senators to make waves in the environmental field by designating April 22nd as Earth Day. The inaugural celebration was largely driven by students across America, with campus events and demonstrations occurring at thousands of colleges across the nation. Outside of universities, millions of Americans attended demonstrations in recognition of Earth Day. After the first Earth Day, our nation made radical changes in favor of environmental protection, including the creation of the EPA, the passing of the Clean Air and Clean Water Acts, and more. Today, the celebration of Earth Day has become a global phenomenon and is celebrated in over 190 countries. We appreciate you spending your Earth Day here with us at Flat Rock Brook. Flat Rock Brook is actually made up of preserved land that was slated to become a housing development. If you think about it, just 1 acre of mature trees captures thousands of pounds of carbon. We have 150 acres preserved here at Flat Rock Brook, so it makes a significant difference for our clean air. We're so thankful for the group of citizens that banded together in the 1970s and fought to preserve this area rather than letting it become a housing development. So what actions can you take this Earth Day? You might find a citizen science project to get involved with. Organizations all over New Jersey lean on citizen scientists to monitor animal populations, like the American kestrel. There's a project that studies their population, to determine water quality and even help endangered species survive during their migration periods. If you want to get your hands dirty to celebrate Mother Earth, volunteer to help pull invasive species here at Flat Rock Brook or at another nature preserve. You might want to plant a garden that only has native species that help our pollinators and other wildlife. Remember, Earth Day is just one celebration of our planet. You have the opportunity to make a difference for our Earth. Because of concerned citizens, we are able to give homes to 5 birds of prey, including Titus, that were injured in the wild but saved because people found them and brought them to a rehabilitation center. Titus here was injured in a car strike and is no longer able to fly at all. But now, because people saved him, he lives in a comfortable enclosure that is designed just for his needs. You can adopt a raptor tonight to support the care of Titus or one of our other raptors in residence here at Flat Rock Brook. This Earth Day, choose to make a difference for the Earth by getting involved in a new project or even by supporting projects that you believe in. Thank you for joining us here at Flat Rock Brook to celebrate Earth Day together. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Rachel. You thought you were done with the appeals? We have more appeals than a Jerry Lewis telethon, but you can always give more. You've seen how you can support Flat Rock by funding a need, contributing to our exciting Jones Road project, or supporting our education work. Or you can adopt a raptor. No, not a rapper. I'm asking you to open your hearts by giving one more time. You can text the word preserve to 41444. Do it now. And one more time, here's Brian.
So for me tonight, finally, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being part of this wonderful, wonderful effort. You know, preserving nature has become quite a struggle in all these days. You know, the old line, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. It's a continual struggle to know that we can make a difference and we can make a positive difference. I've felt it when I've walked through Flat Rock Brook Nature Center, the one in Tenafly, others in the Northern Valley and over the years, now down the shore, and to know that we can make a difference to these special pieces of land and nature is just such a good feeling inside. And so I want to thank you all for being part of that, for being able to contribute to continuing this great history that this organization has created over these past 5 decades. And now it's time for me to introduce our board president, Janet Sharma. And Janet, please, our final remarks for the evening. And don't forget the silent auction till 9 o'clock and text preserve to 41444. Janet?
We take great joy in sharing Flat Rock Brook with you and hope that you will find great joy in lending your support to this extraordinary organization. Be sure to stay tuned to view our sponsors and our advertisers, as well as bios of our honorees and other information. I'll close by saying thanks to our Gala committee, headed by Helen Hersons and Amy Sokol, and our wonderful staff who have worked so hard in putting this all together, especially Sandy Pinto, our Director of Development. Thanks to our Board of Trustees, not only for their generous support of this event, but for their visionary leadership of Flat Rock Brook. Thanks for coming and have a great night. I'll look forward to seeing you on the trail soon.
Here she comes, looking like a fiddle bow. No rising to keep the hairs in line, stumbling just to stay in time. Here it is, tuck it right under your chin, wound up and strung out, beyond the shadow of a doubt. There it was, lay it out like you really mean it, as if it were your big hit that everybody knows. Make your mark and really dig your heels in. We're living in a bargain bin where everything must go. Hold tight, don't you give an inch. Set the beat and chart the course. Wrangle in the wild horse. Stand fast. Hard days have yet to pass. Now you're finally learning why the things you need you just can't buy. And now you know. Lay it out like you really mean it, as if it were your big hit that everybody knows. Make your mark and really dig your heels in. We're living in a bargain bin where everything must go. As if it were your big hit that everybody knows. Make your mark and really dig your heels in. We're living in a bargain bin where everything must go. Stand fast. Hard days have yet to pass.